All right, so as we begin our practice today, we are going to start by coming all the way down onto the floor, taking ourselves down into savasana, rolling ourselves all the way down, making sure we're comfortable laying on our mat. Go ahead and just relax those arms down by our sides. Palms are up to the ceiling. Feet are relaxed down. Now, you may notice that I rock side to side. I kind of wiggle through my shoulders and my head. I want to make sure that I'm checking in, drawing a straight line down the center of my body. Arms are spaced out, legs are spread, and we're simply focusing on our breathing. Finding our neutral alignment, being level across hips, level across shoulders. Feeling very relaxed through the neck and the face muscles. Relax through the abdominal muscles so that with each inhale, our belly can rise up to the ceiling. And on that exhale, we feel any stress, worries, or tension just melt into the ground. Taking a couple of big breaths. What we're doing right now is working our two-part breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Expanding through our rib cage, engaging the diaphragm, encouraging active and controlled breathing exercise. This allows our mind to become more open. Allows our blood to flow, allows our body to relax. Now, taking our arms, let's reach them long up above the head, along the ground. Maybe we're stretching through the shoulders a little bit better. Maybe our backs peel off the floor, our rib cage might spread. Taking deeper, fuller breaths now. Notice how this feels. Do we have any tightness through the shoulder blades? Do we feel any stretch through the back? Releasing our arms, slowly gathering both knees into our chest. Go ahead and give ourselves a nice big hug. We can hold on to shins or behind knees on thighs as we slowly rock side to side. Meeting out any little knots that might be hanging out in our lower back. We may also feel tightness or pinching in the front of the hips at the hip crease. Checking in, not necessarily needing to fix any of that right now, but just becoming aware of it. Slowly coming back through the middle, just holding knees to chest. Keeping a hold of our right knee as we lower that left leg down, we pull the right knee open towards the right shoulder. Now, if you're anything like me this morning, you're going to feel a lot of this through the right inner thigh, depending on the workouts that we've been doing this week or how we've been sitting at our desk, noticing if that affects your hips. Whenever we find ourselves in the seated position, more often than not, so if we're really studying or sitting down, we're going to feel more tightness come in through the hips because they're stuck in that flexed position. So this will help open them up. One more big inhale. Exhale, lower that down. Inhale, drawing that left knee in. Opening the knee. And we firmly plant the right leg down into the ground as we stretch up through that left inner thigh. The same thing, just checking in, realizing how what we did this week is going to affect how our muscles feel, any tightness we're experiencing, our flexibility or range of motion. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly release the leg down. We'll take the feet flat onto the floor, coming into our bridge. Hands are down on the ground. Engage the core muscles, and we inhale, lift the hips up to the ceiling. Exhale, slowly rolling down. Inhale, lifting the hips up. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, lift, squeezing through the glutes, activating the hips. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, lifting the hips up. And exhale, slowly lowering down. Continuing to keep the abdominal muscles engaged as we draw fingertips to side of head. Tucking the chin, lifting the head and shoulders up into an abdominal crunch. Taking an alternating march, we're going to inhale, lift the right knee. Exhale, lower the leg. Inhale, lift the left knee. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right. Exhale. Now this is slow. See if you can do it slow with me. Inhale, left. Exhale, keeping the abdominal muscles tight. Inhale, right. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left. Exhale, one more each side. Inhale, right. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left. Exhale. Now keep the head raised if you're able to. Lift both knees up now, 90 degrees. We're going to tap the toes. Inhale, tap the right foot. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tap the left foot. Exhale, lift, keep the belly strong. Inhale, right. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tap left. Exhale, knees stay bent at 90. Inhale, lower the right. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower the left. Exhale, one more each side. Inhale, right. Exhale. And inhale, left. Exhale. Good. Hug those knees in. Relax the head and shoulders down. Taking the knees up to 90 degrees again. This time, arms coming out to the side. We'll warm up the obliques now in addition to the abdominal muscles, taking windshield wipers. Inhale at the top. Now, lowering the legs to the right. Exhale. Inhale, lift the legs into the middle. Exhale, lower to the left. Just a little bit, doesn't have to be big. Inhale, lift, keep both shoulders glued on the floor. Exhale to the right. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to the left, strong control. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lowering right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lowering left. Control, control, control. Inhale, lift. One more each side. Exhale, right. Inhale, lift. Last time. Exhale to the left. Inhale, lift through the middle. And release. We can either hug the knees in or relax the feet down to the floor. Taking our time, rolling up and over, sitting into butterfly. So we carefully bring ourselves into an upright seated position. We'll draw the soles of the feet together, pressing the toes and gluing them in. That's important. As we glue the feet together, toes and heels included, we hold on to our ankles, sitting up really nice and tall, slowly hinging forward, maybe already feeling a stretch through the inner thighs or the groin. As we hold our ankles, we can press the knees away with the elbows, or if it's more comfortable, tuck the elbows into our sides. Gently tuck the chin now and drop the forehead, noticing any stretch that we might feel in addition to the hips, now through the neck, maybe even the upper back. Slowly lifting our body up, taking the knees in, staying in the seated position. We're going to bring the legs out. So now we're coming back into a boat pose. This is a V-sit. We start by taking our hands underneath our thighs. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see me better. Lean back about 45 degrees. So we're sitting right between sit bones and tailbone on the flat part of our hips. Really puff up the chest. Great posture. You can hold on to your legs or reach the arms forward. We're going to hold it here. And if anyone needs just a little bit more today, feel free to lift the legs up off of the floor. Really keeping those bellies in, shoulders pulling back together. Couple more breaths. Last big inhale. Exhale, release. Good. Give ourselves a nice hug. Taking our time, coming up and over onto hands and knees in tabletop position. We'll work on some balance here with our spinal balance exercise. Hands right beneath shoulders, elbows slightly soft, fingers are spread, knees are underneath hips, relaxing the feet behind us. We draw the bellies in and expand up through the shoulder blades. Let's reach the right arm to the front, thumb to the sky. Press the left leg back, heel out. Lower down. Inhale, left arm and right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right. Exhale. Inhale, left. Exhale, one more each side. Inhale, right. Exhale. And inhale, left. Exhale. Good. From here, just coming back into child's pose. Sitting the hips down into the heels, extending the arms to the front, and dropping the body. Most of us put our foreheads down on the floor. Some of us may be restricted by that motion. Just getting the head as low as we possibly can. Coming forward into our flow series. We'll take an inhale, finding kneeling plank. Shoulders are stacked right on top of hands as we exhale, lower. A tricep hold. This is called baby crocodile. Inhale, push straight up into kneeling plank. Exhale, press back into child's pose. We'll do this a couple of times. Inhaling forward. Exhale, lower, strong, very strong. Inhale, lift straight up, back, stay straight. Exhale, press back into child's pose. 2 more times. Inhaling forward. Exhale, lower, only as low as we can control. Inhale, press straight up. Exhale, lower. 1 more time in this flow. Inhaling forward. Exhale, lower into baby crocodile. Inhale, pressing straight up. And exhale, press back into child's pose. Coming forward through tabletop. We'll find runner's lunge, sweeping that right foot up in between our hands, knee stacked above ankle. Let's slowly lift our bodies upward. Make sure the hips are stacked so that they're level. Reaching our body forward, reach our arms up nice and tall. Zip up all the way through the body so the stomach's not spilling forward. Shoulders come down our backs. See if we're able to close our eyes. A wonderful stretch for that left hip flexor, opening up past the shoulders. Your balance, if we're able to close the eyes, does it cause it to be a little bit more difficult today? Are we enjoying the experience as we fidget, maybe adjusting our balance and our posture? One more big inhale. Exhale, release the hands down. Sweep the right knee back, and we'll bring the left foot forward with our inhale. Whenever we're ready, we find our weight coming up, level off the hips so we're not twisted. Bring those arms up nice and high, release the shoulders down our backs, still pulling bellies in, opening up that back right hip. And when we're feeling like we're in a good position, I want us to see if we can close our eyes. One more big inhale. Exhale, release the arms down. Hands come to the mat as we sweep the knee back behind us, pressing back into child's pose once more. Extend the arms, really press the hands into the floor. Make this an active stretch as we push away from the hands, sending the hips back, forehead to the floor. All right, from here, we curl the toes underneath of us, lifting the hips up nice and high, finding downward facing dog. And while we're in down dog, we're gonna go ahead and pedal the feet. Massaging the arches, the toes, stretching through the calves. Maybe you've been feeling this up through the shoulders. Good. Now from here, pressing those heels down as close as they can get to the floor, keeping the knees locked bent. We'll look up in between our hands, take a big inhale, plank position. We can take the knees down to the ground as we exhale, chaturanga, lower the body to the mat. Inhale, scooping up for cobra, squeeze those shoulders together. Whether we stop halfway in baby or come all the way up into full. Pressing back into down dog or child's. Very good. I want us to walk our feet up towards our hands, coming halfway up into monkey, pulling those shoulder blades together. Knees are locked, bent. Notice how flat my back is. You should be able to balance your teacup on top of the back. Long necks, pull those shoulders in. Sitting back into our hips. Finding a squat pose. Now from chair, big inhale, reaching up nice and tall. And release our arms down. Okay, feel free to grab a quick drink if you need one. Just gonna take off a layer while we prepare for the next section of our class. So again, grab a drink if you'd like one. Now as we stand really nice and tall in Tadasana, I want us to bring our feet right underneath our hips. Roll the shoulders down, palms facing front. Taking our hands, big inhale, reach up nice and tall. And then exhale, just swan dive, forward fold. We're going to stay in forward fold for a couple of breaths. Soften the knees, drop the head. Notice if we want to touch our hands to the floor, the legs, or hold hands in either elbow, taking ragdoll position. We notice with each exhale that our body just gets a little bit bendier. Trying to keep our backs fairly flat as we bend those knees, never locking the legs in a straight position. Noticing any stretch we might be feeling up the backs of those legs. Now from here, I want you to release the hands, coming into ball. We slowly sit the hips down toward the heels. Good. Keeping the heels flat on the floor. I like to reach the arms forward. It's really good balance. Now only coming as low as we're able. The next position from ball, we're going to switch it into prayer squat. What I need you to do is take your hands down. Maybe we need to lift our hips up a bit. You're going to turn your toes out just a little bit and then sit back down. But now your legs are wide like a frog, so you can sit much deeper. Elbows are going to press against the knees to touch the hands together in prayer. So as you find yourself in that position, I'm just going to turn to the front so you can see me get into that once more. I want the tailbone really low, elbows press against knees, hands come into prayer, shoulders locked down. Still maintaining heels glued to the ground, only coming as low as we can handle that. Now in the prayer squat, take a couple big breaths. This is a big stretch for the inner thighs, the hips, the groin. Slowly taking the hands down to the floor. We lift the hips up, turn the toes in, and come halfway up to monkey again. Good. Now you hold monkey. Sticking the tailbone out, soft knees, flat backs. Transfer the weight into the heels, finding chair. Arms reach forward. Good. Take a big inhale. And exhale, release. Very nice. Now we're going to stretch through the back a little bit, finding ourselves in a camel. Camel, just like not the elephant, the animal with the big hump at the back, camel. We're going to do a back stretch. So we start by standing really nice and tall in Tadasana. Feet are about hips-width distance apart, making sure that the knees are bent. We want to protect our lower backs by squeezing in our bellies. Take our hands into fists and glue the knuckles of the fists to your lower back, right above your pant line, basically, right into the dimples of the lower back. Now I want us to squeeze the shoulders together, trying to glue the elbows as close together as you can get. So if I were to face away from you, You're just glue those elbows. Now, everybody, squeeze your belly button, take a big inhale, get taller, and exhale, open your chest to the ceiling. Try not to lean back. So see how I'm still in the exact same position? It's just my upper back bending slightly. We're going to take our next inhale and kind of reassess here. Exhale, reach up and get taller. Keep squeezing those elbows together. Flip the face. Keep your knees slightly soft, belly pulling in. We'll do this one more time. Big inhale, readjust. Exhale, get even taller. And release that. Good. All right, so from the top of our mat, we take an inhale, lifting up to prayer. Exhale, hinge at the hips, swan dive into forward fold. Again, I want us to hang here. In forward fold, we do attempt to maintain a flat spine, nice and flat through the back. Soften those knees in order for this to be comfortable, whether we're reaching forward, touching our shins, bending our knees lots. It's much more effective. All right, taking our time, we're going to sit back into ball again, down through the heels. Preparing for a crow. This is a handstand. We take our hands, place them directly in front of us, raising up nice and high onto our tippy toes, taking our knees on the outside of our elbows. Now the knees are trying to come up into the armpits, but they're just gonna come right past the elbows so that the shins are lining up on the back of the arms. Now you'll notice I'm kind of rocking just a little bit. I'm getting my arms ready for the shift of weight. Now I want you to look way forward. Don't look down at your feet. Look way forward. Lift your bum up nice and high. And when you're ready, you're just gonna allow your toes to peel up off the ground, one at a time. Really try hard not to jump into the position. It's a transfer of weight. So it's just one toe at a time as we lift the hips. Try this as many times as you need to. Playing with it. I'll do it from the front for anyone to see. So again, from ball, hands come to the ground. We lift up onto our tippy toes. Place the knees as high up as they'll get. Looking forward, we transfer the weight. And when we're ready, lift those hips a little bit higher. Tippy toes coming up off the ground. Try to keep your head up. If your head is down, it's heavy. It's going to cause your whole body to come down too. Very good. All right, when you're done playing with that, I want you to transfer back into tabletop and press back into child's pose. That's a very difficult stand to take, and it's a lot of work on the core and the shoulders. So let's relax that now. Great job, everybody. Next, we'll come up into our tabletop position. We're going to be coming into a dolphin plank. Dolphin in yoga is taking our elbows to replace the hands down on the mat. The elbows are directly beneath the shoulders, and then we interlace the fingers. Interlacing the fingers together. I have a tip for everybody. We take our pinky finger that's sitting on the bottom, and to avoid squishing it, we tuck that in so that both pinkies absorb the weight together. Don't worry if you don't like it, it's just a tip. Elbows come underneath the shoulders. Squeeze your biceps, rolling the elbows in just a little bit smaller than the shoulders now. Curl your toes and lift your hips up into our dolphin position. Just like down dog, let the head relax, looking back at the hand or at the feet. Now, just like down dog, our head never touches the floor. So make sure that as you're in this position, you're trying to draw a straight line from your elbows through shoulders, up your back into your tailbone. Head is just free to look back at your feet. You may notice that you have to bend your knees a little bit more. In dolphin, this is a lot for the shoulders. It's a great exercise to open our shoulders up, working mobility. So working strength while stretching open that range of motion. Taking one more big inhale. Exhale, release the knees down to the floor, relax the hands, press back into child's pose. Couple big breaths. pushing away from our hands. If we're doing downward facing dog pose today, we're going to come back up into that stretch. Notice that because we've just stretched our backs and our shoulders out a lot, we may have a little bit more room for freedom here, a little bit more room to explore the stretching through the shoulders, the stretching up the backs of the legs. Now we're going to take that right foot up off the ground into a three-legged dog. Make sure that you're okay with that shift of weight before lifting the knee up to the ceiling. I'd recommend keeping that knee bent as we hold three-legged dog, just to notice the shoulders and the hips both staying square to the mat. We feel very strong, very secure. We can stay here in three-legged dog, or you can join me in mountain lion by opening that right knee up to the ceiling, slowly placing that right foot behind you on the floor, lifting the right arm up to the ceiling. In mountain lion, we feel a lot of work on the left shoulder. It's a beautiful position. Hold it. Keep lifting those hips up nice and high to the sky. Gracefully coming out of this, we start to work the hips forward, replace the hands, and press both feet down into the ground. Now I'm going to stay in down dog, but if anyone needs a hand, wrist, or shoulder break, just come down into child's pose for a couple of breaths. Preparing for the three-legged dog with the left foot. We gently lift that foot up off the ground, slowly lifting the knee up towards the ceiling once we have found our balance. Both hips and shoulders face the ground here. And we can stay here or transition into mountain lion by taking the left knee up to the sky, slowly letting that foot come down to the floor, and we lift the hips as we lift that left arm up to the ceiling. See how I'm drawing a straight line from my bottom right hand up through my shoulders, my left hand into the ceiling, lifting those hips up, engaging through the core. We slowly come out of that by taking the hand down, flipping the hips and pressing back again into down dog or child's pose if you prefer. Each time we come into our recovery stretch, really try to find just a little bit more length, a little bit more stretch. We're going to stretch the hips in the opposite way now, finding pigeon. Take that right foot up high to three-legged dog. And then we take that right foot forward towards our left hand. The knee comes down towards our right hand. The back leg is straight behind us, looking over that left shoulder just to give it a check. Making sure we're resting on feet and knees. We're never ever touching our hips to the floor in pigeon. We come down onto our hands or our forearms, or relax completely down onto the hands with the forehead.
Did I say cobra because my legs are really tight?
Uh-huh. Slowly, we're going to replace our elbows with our hands if they were down. Sweep ourselves back into down dog or child's pose. All right, let's hold whichever stretch we've chosen to hold here, just for a couple of breaths. Like I mentioned before, if we're in down dog, see if we can press further away from our hands. See if we can lift our hips up a little bit higher. Maybe press our chest back towards our shins. Preparing for pigeon on the left, if we're choosing to do it. We'll inhale, lift that left foot up nice and high. Exhale, kick the foot up to the right wrist. Left knee down. And we look over our right shoulder to make sure that the leg hasn't wandered off. Spatial awareness is something really important in yoga. It's a great tool to build on. And then we find that stretch in the left hip. Just relaxing the upper body. And just like in forward fold, we do try to maintain as flat a back as we possibly can. Always stretching with good posture is going to be more effective. Let's see if we're able to relax the head a little bit more, taking a couple of really slow, deep breaths. Letting that left hip just release. Taking our time, coming up out of that. Pressing back into either down dog or child's pose one final time. Now, noticing as we hold this last time in our stretch, that we feel perhaps a little bit stretchier, if I can use that as our word to describe us. Longer through the back, the shoulders, the hips and the legs. Slowly releasing the knees to the ground. Swivel the hips around. And we're going to come all the way down onto our mat. Now, as we work our way down onto our back, just making sure that we've got lots of space on the floor. We're going to come into a shoulder stand, lots of different progressions, so everyone can do this, just stopping at any version or any level that we feel comfortable with today. We start with our feet flat on the ground, knees are bent. Arms are down on the floor on either side of our hips, bringing the heels in towards the body, closer than you would for a typical bridge. We inhale, lift the hips up high to the sky and hold it. From here, I want you to lift the hips up a little bit higher and thread the fingers together underneath the body, stretching fully through the chest. Now, we may decide that this is where we want to stop today. That's fantastic. For anyone who wants to go one step further, we take our hands to our lower backs. This is really important. You can't move towards the next step if this isn't something you can achieve. I want that to be stressed. We need to have our hands on our lower backs with our elbows right underneath the body in order to come into the next part of it. Kick one knee in at a time, matrix style. And then if you're able to, we're going to keep our backs perpendicular to the floor, abs in nice and tight, lifting one or both legs straight up to the ceiling. Keep those hands on the lower back. This is going to help balance. In yoga, we never put ourselves into a position that we could hurt ourselves, okay? So if we keep our hands on our lower back, we're protecting. We're strengthening through the triceps. We're keeping our necks nice and long. And now if we are enjoying this, we can keep our legs up or bent, or we can come back into plow, keeping our body perpendicular to the floor, and now bringing our toes up above our head, finding our legs parallel with the floor. Keep those bellies drawing in, hands on the lower back to help. A couple big breaths. All right, if we were in plow, we start to bring the legs back up to the ceiling. If we were with legs straight, we start to bring the knees into the chest. And now to come out of this properly, keeping your hands on your lower back, one knee at a time, taking the feet to the floor. And from that bridge position, we draw the hands down, the heels down, the hips down. Always, always practicing as much control as we can manage in yoga so that we're never giving over to momentum. Hugging the knees into the chest next. We'll rock our knees side to side. Taking them up 90 degrees. Bringing our arms out to the side, making a T with the body. We have an inhale at the top. Finding spinal twist, we exhale both knees to the right, letting them fall completely to the floor. Holding the legs with the right hand if that helps. And we can look over the left arm if that feels good. Couple big breaths. Slowly releasing the arms as we bring both knees up to the middle. Take an inhale at the top. Exhale, lowering the legs to the left. We can hold that top leg and we can look over our right arm. Noticing perhaps a stretch through the shoulder, the chest, or the back. Lifting both legs up, take our time. Maybe give them a little bit of a hug. And then take both feet down to the floor. We're going to release our legs all the way straight, coming into Shavasana. This will be our final resting pose. Noticing that if we need to take any other stretches, feel free to do those very slowly at this point. Otherwise, if we're prepared to do so, finding ourselves in Shavasana. Legs extended, toes turning out to the side, opening up through the hips. Arms are down by our sides with palms raised to the ceiling. Maybe rocking the head right to left a couple of times, ensuring that we are long and neutral with the neck, and resting comfortably on the back of the head with our nose pointing straight up. Now I want us to very calmly relax the muscles in our face. Let go of the contraction through the abdominal muscles in the stomach area. And return to our 2-part breath. We inhale, fill the belly, and exhale, release the stomach down towards the floor. And while we're breathing, try to count to 5 with each inhale. And try to take the same 5 counts for each exhale. Focusing on the counts can help keep our attention, keep our thoughts from wandering, noticing how we're very calm, very relaxed. Our heart rate is slowing down. Maybe it's feeling more natural to take these slower, deeper breaths. We're going to take one more big inhale together. And exhale, release. Wiggling our fingers and our toes. Rolling the hands and feet. Reawakening the body, checking back in with the room. Take our time, perhaps we draw the knees up, maybe even give ourselves one final hug. And we work our way up into our seated position. We can take crisscross, lotus, half lotus, butterfly. And as we find our way all the way into a very tall posture, comfortably placing the backs of the hands on the thighs, we're going to say our final goodbye. Taking that big inhale, lifting our hands all the way up to prayer. Exhaling down through our center. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for all my day.
Bye.
See ya.